أعوذ بالله السميع العليم البصير من الشيطان الرجيم من همسه ونفخه ونفثه بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا وحبيبنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي بجاه سنقرئك فلا تنسى إلا ما شاء الله إنه يعلم الجهر وما يخفى الحمد لله رب العالمين فهو أهل الحمد والثناء ثم الصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم محمد وآله وصحبه وأتباعه أجمعين إلى يوم الدين آمين. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the only worthy of all praises and adorations. We do ask him to further show our noble Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam with further blessings and mercies in abundance from him unto the noble Prophet himself, his household companions and followers until the day of account. Ameen. Fellow seekers of the truth, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. A very good moment to every one of us, wherever we happen to be and find ourselves. Today, we are in continuation of our discussions on Hikam Ibn AtaiLlahi Al-Sakandari. And today, inshallah, we are going to be treating Aphorism number 90, inshallah. And the aphorism is simple and direct and straight to the point. So inshallah, we are going to be seeing that together as the time unfolds. Now, this is we are still on our Ramadan Threesom daily spiritual delicacies. And for those who are present on social media, so these recordings and the ones from the last year, Ramadan, up till now, on the YouTube channel and the Facebook channel and the Instagram. And so for those who are interested in following, so please do the needful, inshallah. So now, the aphorism for today is, this is for night number 8, inshallah. Although some in some other parts of the world are already in day number 8. So we are going to be in night number 8. And tomorrow will be our day number 8 of Ramadan. So whatever the case is, so the aphorism is still relevant for both, inshallah. So it is based on actions and the simplicity of getting the rewards for them from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is the director of all affairs. Now, so the aphorism is in line with an hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which states, "Man yuridillahu bihi khayran yufaqihu fid-din." Yufaqihu fid-din. So the hadith is a long one, but that is the clause that we want to use for this aphorism. So man yuridillahu bihi khayran yufaqihu fi din. Anyone whom Allah wishes to grant good benefits, righteousness, good reward, good recompense, yufaqihu fi din. He will grant him the accurate understanding of the religious affairs, religious matters, religious issues. So, by this, and whomever Allah is granted the accurate and right understandings and comprehensions of his religion, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself will not deprive him of the reward of that. So that is the deprivation of the reward that everyone is afraid of will not be applicable to the one to whom Allah has granted the permission to carry out the action. So meaning to say, so permission from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself for his servant to undergo an act of obedience in itself is enough a reward for him. Okay? Man yuridullahu bihi khayran yufaqihu fid-din. To whom Allah has granted the right comprehension of religion, Allah has wished him goodness and all forms of righteousness. Now, this is the aphorism number 90 of the Hikam. It says, and I read as presented. كفى من جزائه إياك على الطاعة أن رضيك لها أهلا. Again, كفى من جزائه إياك على الطاعة أن رضيك لها أهلا. And كفى meaning يكفيك. يكفيك. It is enough for you. It is convenient for you. It is most accorded to you. Jaza'u. Jaza'u. Jaza'ihi. Jaza'u. Reward. Reward, recompense. Okay. Give back. Ha'u there is meaning God. Jaza'ullah. Iyaka yani laka. Okay, for you or towards you. At-ta'a, so yani amalul ibadah, to act of obedience, act of worshiping. Salat, Siyam, Zakat, Hajj, good deeds, Husnul Khuluq, and so on. Radiyaka, okay, Radiyaka, yani Radiya laka. Radiya laka is pleased with you. He has approved it for you, okay, and he has agreed for you, ahlan laha, to be one of those who will carry out the activity or the deed. Now, literally, the aphorism means it is reward enough for worship that he has accepted you as worthy of it. Again, it is reward enough, or it is rewarding enough for worship that he has accepted you, he has chosen you as worthy of carrying out the activity. It is enough of a reward for you, for your obedience, that he chooses you to perform the act. Okay? It is enough of a reward for your obedience that he has chosen you to perform the act. Okay? Relating back to man yuridillahu bihi khayran yufaqihu fi din, yani yuwaffiquhu fi din. Anyone to whom Allah has wished to grant a reward, he would grant him conciliation of upholding the religious tenets. That is the meaning here in the aphorism. كفى من جزائه إياك على الطاعة أن رضيك لها أهلا أو أن رضيك أهلا لها. So conceptually, so it is based on the concept of لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. There is no might and there is no power except that which is granted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Many a times we want to do a thing as simple as such a thing will seem to us, so the execution of it in most cases tends to be so difficult on us. So that is, and that itself will not keep our mind abreast, because at least if we are able to carry out the act, we will have an expectation for a reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But when we are not able to carry out the act, when and where from where do we expect the reward to come from? The mind will not be at rest. So that is the concept here. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grants us the permission, approves the permission for a person to carry out an act of obedience, an act of ibadah, to granting him the reward, the acceptance of that, okay, is expected by the servant, and the reward is highly relied upon. So meaning to say, the granting of ability to carry on the obedience, the act of obedience in itself, is enough reward in itself. Talk less of expecting the real reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the beginning of the real reward is the granting of the permission for the execution of the action itself. For without the execution, where then do we expect the reward? So those are the conceptual meanings and messages there in that aphorism. Sheikh Abdul Majid Asharnobi says, the meaning of the aphorism is that كفى من مجازاته سبحانه لك على الطاعة أن رضيك أهلا لها أيها المريد الضعيف. O you beloved, weak, poor seeker of the truth. كفى من مجازاته سبحانه لك على الطاعة. It should be sufficing enough for you that Allah, glorious be He, has granted for you the act of obedience to be worthy of serving an act of obedience to Him. فَإِنَّ خِدْمَةَ مَلَكِ الْمُلُوكِ مِمَّا تَتَطَاوَلُ إِلَيْهَا الْأَعْنَاقُ. Because the service of the great kingdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the prayer point of the prayer point towards which people's expectations are directed. Okay, so the service of the great kingdom of Allah, the Allah, the majesty is. He is. So is the desire, okay, towards which the admiration and expectation of all beloved of Allah's yearn are directed towards. فَكَوْنُهُ رَضِيَكَ لَهَا, to him granting you the permission to execute the act of ibadah, min أعظم النعم التي امتن بها عليك الكريم الخلاق, is one of the greatest bounties that the glorious Creator has granted upon you, as gifted unto you. So, meaning to say, when we are able to carry out and execute any act for Allah, on the part of Allah, with the good intention of Allah, so we should first of all thank Allah for that itself. For that in itself is a good deed, is the beginning of the admiration for the reward. We are expected to say at the end of all good deeds that we have done, Subhanaka ma abadinaka haqqa ibadatika. Glorious be to you, okay? Glory be unto you. Glorious be you. Hallowed be thy name. We will never be able to serve you as accurate as expected. So that is expected from us to say at the end of carrying out any activity. Okay, when we finish an halaqah, giving, preaching, admonition, direction, irshad, and all that, we should end by saying, Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Glorious be you. There is no knowledge for us. We do not have any power or monopoly of any knowledge, except that which you have showered upon us to know. You are the all-knowing, the all-wise. To that, we are expected to say in appreciation. Then we expect the reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So here goes some of the conceptual messages. To whom permission is granted for supplication or any act of ibadah will not be denied acceptance. So as reported in one of the hadith, Man ruziqa du'a'u lam yuhramul hijaba. Man ruziqa ad-du'a lam yuhramul hijaba. The one who is granted the permission to supplicate to Allah will not be denied the acceptance, because it is the promise of Allah that Udu'uni astajibu lakum, call upon me and I will answer you. Okay, and the same thing is applicable to the act of worship. So when we do it, okay, so if Allah grants us the permission to carry it out, then that means the acceptance and the acceptance will not be heard, and also the reward will be solely expected. So the reward is that, okay, so the reward is that Allah makes them acknowledge His greatness, loftiness, and pride, along with which they consider insignificant their own selves, and they are being fit to be given the responsibility to worship Him. So in such a state, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grants them a support by making them easy, and his love captures their hearts. His love overpowers, overshadows their own desire. Why his closeness overcomes them? They are overwhelmed by the proximity to Allah, to the presence of Allah. And by that, consequently, their own selves, as a result of experiencing the presence of Allah, their own self and existence becomes nothing to them. Okay, and by that, they engage in al-haya, in modesty, okay, in the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the better understanding of his deen, and to grant us the permission to carry out acts of obedience towards him, and thereby expecting rewards and acceptance from him. إنه على ذلك قدير وبالإجابة جدير نعم المولى ونعم النصير. Now, for day number 8 and night number 8. So this is selected supplication with Ismullah al-Husna by repeating Subhanaka anta Allahu al-Badi'ul Ahad. Subhanaka anta Allahu al-Badi'ul Ahad. Subhanaka anta Allahu al-Badi'u al-Ahad. So glory be to you, Allah, the innovator of everything and the sole one and the only unit. Okay, we can recite it 71 times, 91 times, 113 times or more after observation of at least 2 rakahs of Surah Al-Fatiha and Al-Kafirun in the first, Surah Al-Fatiha and Ikhlas in the second. So 4 rakahs is okay, 6, 8, and more is better. So it is expected, and according from the report, it is stated that anyone who says this repeatedly, constantly in the recitation of Subhanaka anta Allahul Badi'ul Ahad, okay, will not find difficulty in starting and ending any affairs, whether it is dunya or akhirah affairs, whether in the matters of religion or whether in his own personal life. So starting and ending well in all affairs will be made easy always by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for those who say this continuously. It is one of the Asma'ullah al-Husna. Subhanaka anta Allahu al-Badi'u al-Ahad. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept it as act of supplication towards him. Now, to end the session, so this is, yesterday we gave information about honey, al-asal, okay, honey, and the advantages in honey, the components of honey. So yesterday it was honey as food. So now, from today until the next few days, we're going to give advantages of honey for healings. So today, in healing of ulcer, burns, cuts, wounds, and abrasion or any scar on the body, on the skin, okay, we can apply pure honey onto the affected area every 2 to 3 days, okay, under dry dressing. After applying honey on the place, then we cover the place with dry cloth or dry tissue, or let's say dry bandage. Okay, so the healing is marvelous and it will not leave any scar on the skin. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us a better use of the natural gift that He has given to us. So with that, we end the session for today. I put myself and everyone under the protection of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in whose protection and guide nothing is lost and missed. أستودعكم ونفسي في رعاية الله الذي لا يضيع ودائعه والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.